Hey, out there in Twitch land, it's your host Josh Poirier with the Interesting Points. Another episode of Interesting Points on 2MB Studios. I guess with a meat in the spread sandwich of Sports Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed the Boy Detective show. If you stuck around, if you watched that ahead of time, you should watch it every week as well. This show, Interesting Points, it's a panel show that I came up with, kind of modeled off some British panel shows in the past that I've enjoyed a lot of. So today we're going to meet some interesting comedians, going to learn about what makes them interesting, what they're experts in, what they might feel is a guilty pleasure, a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, I'm not going to waste any more time introducing it. Let me just bring on the comedians. First up, we've got, I didn't put an order to this. First up, we've got whoever's coming up first. Marissa Farmer. How you doing, Marissa?
I'm doing great.
Next up, we got Brian Rock. Brian, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Rachel Andelman. How you doing, Rachel?
I'm great.
Next up is Dan Martin. What's up, Dan?
Hi, I'm good.
We got Lloyd Legacy Sharp. How you doing, Lloyd?
I'm alive.
Yay, we could hear Lloyd this time. Lloyd has been on the show before. We couldn't hear him the first time, but now we can hear him, and everything's all great. All right, so the first part of the show that I like to call the banter. This basically just kind of get the juices flowing, get kind of the comedy going. That this week's subject was birds. The reason I picked that is because this week I was attacked by my 20th species of bird. So I'm breaking a record, I think, my own record at least. I had been attacked by 19 species of bird up until this week when I was finally attacked by a pigeon. My 20th species of bird being attacked by.
Are you tracking the species? Are you?
I tracked after the emu.
You were attacked by an emu.
Oh yeah. Been attacked by an emu, attacked by an ostrich, attacked by a pelican.
Is an emu like a bird with like hair down like this and like?
Yeah, it's a big bird.
And, like listens to like screamo music.
Sells. Actually, they sell insurance now. Emus.
I don't want to blame the victim, but are you? Like,
I'm antagonizing them.
You're not.
Oh, I am.
You are.
Some of them I am.
Okay. Listen,
if
there's an asshole everywhere you go, that asshole might be you.
Yeah, it is. Well, I not say antagonized. I'd say I more get closer than I should get to them. Like I like little goslings. I think they're adorable. And when you go near them, the parents. Lloyd, are you shaking your head at me?
Is a baby emu a gosling? Like, why are you getting
No,
attacked?
emu was attacked when I tried. I was attacked by when I tried to feed one when I shouldn't have fed one at a county fair.
Oh.
Do
Do you realize how un-American it is to attack the symbol of a bird in 2020? Our national animal is a bird, and how dare you tread on the good name of such a species in 2020 looking like you do?
Lloyd Sharp, everybody.
You don't get it. Your people are going to turn on you for blaming the bird for what it did because it's a bird. America.
I love you, Lloyd, man. I love you. So actually, I'm just going to ask everybody, kind of give you an idea about what you think about birds. Marissa, birds, what does bird mean to you?
First off, I've only been attacked by one bird, so I feel like I was gonna bring that up, but now I just feel like that's nothing. That's
Josh
small.
is like in a Hitchcock film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Josh is.
I'm going to bring up the fact that when I was a kid, I used to think, I fully believed that in order to catch a bird, in order to make friends with a bird, you had to salt the tails. But I couldn't get close enough to a bird, so I planted piles of salt around, hoping that the birds would stick their tails within and then be trapped. And then I'd make a new bird friend.
Wow.
Dark. Dark.
As a 5-year-old, yes.
I've
Yeah.
never
That's
heard
the
that
same
before.
reason why I put bear traps all through the woods behind my house. Make bear friends. Or adopt a new kid. Oh.
Yeah, that's probably a little less violent than a bear trap.
That's actually really interesting. I've never heard of salting the tails before. It's,
Yeah, an old idiom from like the 16th century, a superstition from the 16th century that children believe.
Wow.
Tyler.
You were a child in the 16th century.
Oh, well, porn. I've revealed too much. Goodbye.
You're 5, you're reading poems.
What we all don't see is that Marissa's just trying to make that final leap that finally brings her home.
I did wonder why you had like such an extensive Victrola collection, but now it makes sense.
Yes.
These are coming together.
Brian, what do birds mean to you?
So before I get to what birds mean to me, I just want to say about my bird attack story. So I live in New York City, and when you live in New York, you don't measure how long you've been in New York by years. You measure it by how many times you've been pooped on by a pigeon. So I just want to say I've lived in New York for 2 pigeons pooping on my forehead.
Oh my god.
And what is that in
So-
human years?
So in years, we're coming up on 5. So
Wow.
maybe the next one's coming in about the next 2.5 years, or maybe I'm
feel
overdue
like-
for the next one.
I feel
I
like
don't
you
know.
don't go outside enough.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, the pandemic definitely curbed my outside time and the amount of time that I could be a target. So
Ruining your New York experience.
yeah, data's definitely pretty skewed. Data's
Yeah.
definitely skewed. So when I think of birds, I think of my least favorite conspiracy theory that's out there. The conspiracy theory that birds aren't real. Birds are very much so very real things, because if birds weren't real, then was Nelly Furtado's love not real? And was she not able to fly away like a bird? Come on. The proof is in the pudding. Birds are real because Nelly Furtado feels like one. Blow it
Wow.
away. Get back to the
Yeah.
5G towers.
Is that an actual conspiracy theory?
That birds aren't real?
Yeah.
Yeah, that birds aren't real and that they're just government drones.
I haven't been touched unexpectedly since I was a child.
Josh, have you ever seen a pigeon baby?
I have, yeah.
Then never mind.
You must be
Maybe I
a
got attacked
government
by a
agent,
pigeon.
Josh.
Wow.
What do you know? What do you know?
It was very robotic looking. I'll tell you that much. It was kind of weird. Rachel,
Yeah.
birds.
I didn't come into this thinking I'd be like the bird defender. I didn't think that people would have such a negative view of birds. I think they're cool. My mom's really into songbirds. Every morning, she takes a big old saucepan of bird seed, and we fill up the multiple bird feeders we have. And then you get to watch them from the kitchen window, and they're pretty cute. There's a mourning dove, it just sits his fat ass right in the middle of the bird feeder and doesn't let the other birds eat, and that's really funny. That's a good bit. I think birds are charming. I think everything about birds are charming. I think it's fun that their poop hole is also their other hole. Yeah, like why have two? That's just smart. I like that their butts are like long and flat. I think it's just like a fun choice.
Like 90s moms.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that water birds have just like a gland that produces oil that they can cover their feathers with so that they don't get wet. I just think that's just like a neat thing. You know that guy from high school? He's like, I built an RPG by myself. That's what birds are. They're like, I did this thing, and you're like, I couldn't do that myself, but I just like that I know that you did that.
I think Italians have that gland because I grew up pretty oily.
Grew up pretty early.
like water off a Dan's back.
I'm sure that has uses in your day to
But
day.
coincidentally, I love bread.
Yeah, when I first met Dan, I was feeding him bread in a river.
Yeah, like this.
So, Rachel, thank you for defending birds.
Yeah, I did not think I'd be in this position, but apparently everyone else just has their blinders on. Yeah.
I was defending their existence. They're here. They are here.
Yeah.
We're not denying that anymore.
I was never denying it in the first place.
4 scored 7 birds ago.
So, Dan, what do you think of birds?
What?
What do you think of birds?
Fuck birds.
Already have contention.
Strong.
What was that, Mirth?
I was
I
gonna
said
say,
we already
what do you
have
think of birds?
Yes. Well, I'm with Rachel on the. I don't have a mom. That's it. I don't have a mom. I don't. But my wife does that. My wife makes hummingbird nectar. She makes it.
Oh, yeah.
For our anniversary, I bought her a glass hummingbird feeder, hand blown off Etsy.
Cool.
And so we have birds in the yard. The last time that I was able to go on a family beach trip, a seagull stole my lobster sandwich right out of my hand.
But that's funny. That's funny though, right?
Fuck birds. All they do is eat my food. Either my wife makes it for them, or they just take it. Birds are fucking terrorists.
Do you normally eat hummingbird nectar on a daily basis?
No, but I could. If I don't have my lobster sandwich, what the fuck? I could sustain myself.
So imagine you're not you. Imagine you're someone watching your food get stolen. Doesn't that make you laugh a little bit?
You know what? Maybe I would have helped me. Maybe I would have helped me. My family was there. You know what they did? Laughed like you.
Sorry.
You know what I had to do? Go without lunch till I could buy another sandwich.
And that's a
You
lobster
think I can
sandwich.
just walk off the beach? That shit takes me a long time.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It was so hard. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
I have fused ankle bones, and I'm fat.
Did
That's
the bird do
dangerous
that?
on the beach. That's just asking for a sprained ankle.
Yeah, I walk through sand like I don't know what, like a rock.
Lloyd, what do you think of birds?
First of all, Mr. Guy that talked before me, was it not you
My name's right
a
there.
few weeks ago on this very show that discussed your experiences at a certain place in Somerville called Good Times?
No, different guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know all white people look like.
They all look the same.
Not me.
No, I mentioned that. I mentioned that because you do look like him.
No shit.
And for him or you or anybody else to complain about birds stealing your food. That guy had his wallet stolen from Good Times more than once and never even got stabbed. Which you do at Good Times. Imagine if you were in his shoes. And imagine if you, more than once, had your wallet stolen. What would be more important to get stolen from you? Your food or your identity? And you're going to get on birds for that?
I've been stabbed.
All right,
I'd rather have my
here's
feelings.
what birds mean to me. They are fine. They exist. I'm okay with it. Not pro, not anti. They represent the freedom that I wish I had. No rent, no bills, no mortgage, no insurance needs, no health care issues, no need to worry about politics affecting them because they can literally fly wherever they go. And yeah,
One
freedom.
hole for everything.
Freedom. They represent freedom.
They can poop on heads without consequence.
I guess if I had to go to the DMV to get another sandwich, it would be worse. So I mean, I guess you got a point there. It's easier to
I'm just
replace
saying,
sandwich
I have
than
not
get
gotten that
sandwich.
story out of my head. And I'm like, you having your lunch taken away, but you can just go to the sub shop, get more. But if you don't have your wallet on you, you can't get more.
Whoa,
I was at the beach. My
So,
wallet was in the car. I was
What
trapped by my shitty ankles.
Thank you. The ankles.
Sand.
Let's just say I've been around people who have had worse things stolen than their food from a bird. And in my opinion, you got off lucky.
Well, I'm not debating you, okay? I've eaten many a sandwich since, but in the moment, Lloyd, it was pretty bad, Lloyd.
Hey, I'm all about initial reactions in the moment, but hindsight is the current year. And that guy that had his wallet taken had it a lot worse when it comes to theft than you with the flying things. That's all I'm saying. Be grateful you're not him.
I mean, that bird, much like that, is Good Times a stripper place? I don't.
No, it was
No. It was an amazing arcade where you could watch WWE pay-per-views for like
Why are people
$5.
stealing from an arcade? Anyway,
No. They didn't steal from the arcade. They waited until people enjoyed the merriment of the arcade and went outside after having said merriment, and then they stole from them. And if you tried to resist, they would stab you, and that would become part of Somerville lore and Good Times that we all remember it for today, more than the merriment.
I bet it was a fucking seagull in a trench coat. Because that
It could have been. Might
that
have.
motherfucker stole my good times.
You got me.
They say don't swim right after you eat. Don't swim hungry.
When did I lose control? When did
I got
lose
nothing.
control?
I got nothing.
Thank you, Lloyd.
I'm taking my computer and going home. I got nothing.
Bye, Lloyd.
See you, Lloyd.
Bye, Lloyd.
Come over here. I'll make you a sandwich. Won't be lobster though.
All right, so that was our banter section. That was all about birds. That took a turn. Now we've got a segment I like to call "Prove It to Me." Everybody's an expert in something, or says that they are. So what I want to do is I'm just going to ask everybody just kind of some facts about your expert, what you're an expert in, kind of just to get an idea that maybe that just prove it to me, essentially. I'm going to start with Dan. Dan, what are you an expert in?
What am I an expert in?
Yeah.
Well, it's not lobster sandwiches. been on the show a few times. I don't really know. Lately I've been sort of just learning all about the band Gwar.
Mhm.
So I guess like lately I've just kind of been an expert in that, in Gwar.
You got some facts to throw at me?
Nah.
Okay.
I guess I should have put more effort into this. Well, Gwar is a band. They're formed by art students in 1988, 89. They're kind of like an amalgamation of different bands from Richmond, Virginia. Like the main center nucleus of the bands they came from is Death Piggy, which was formed by this dude Dave Brocky. Another one of their main staple members and artists is Don Drakulik, who became Sleazy P. Martini, their fucking manager. They play different characters. If somebody quits the band or gets fired, they just replace the actor or the musician in the suit. If somebody dies, they write the character off and kill the character off and have a new character. They actually had to do that when their guitarist passed away a few years ago, and then they did it again when the lead singer passed away.
Dave Brocky.
Dave Brocky. I know a lot more stuff about them.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, Dave Brocky was a hell of a guy.
I got their re-release of their demo cassette for my 40th birthday.
Nice.
I have a tape player down here, so that's what I was doing before the show. It's the
Remember
best thing I ever heard.
I remember when I learned about Gwar, it was from where I worked at the public library in Waltham, and it was from the janitor. When I was 15, he brought me down to the basement, and I was scared at first, but then he introduced me to Gwar, Scumdogs.
Met Gwar.
I don't know if you can see the chat.
I'm
sorry,
went-
it's not my turn.
I first saw Gwar when I was about 15, 95, in Providence. I've seen them at the Met. I've seen them at Lupo's, the old Lupo's, the Strand. When I was like 18, 19, I allegedly did cocaine with them backstage at Lupo's, allegedly. I've been eaten by the worm.
Wow.
I've seen them now 19 times
Wow. That's crazy.
throughout the years. I go once or twice a year, except now for my 40th birthday, I was supposed to do the VIP thing and also go to Richmond and actually see the studios and go to the Gwar bar and stuff. But because of the pandemic, I could not. So my wife bought me the special edition remastered Scumdogs of the Universe box set, which comes with a death certificate that you could put your name on, and then when you do get to meet them, they sign it. So,
Wow.
I have been killed by Gwar. I will now officially prove it because I have been killed by them on stage, eaten by the worm.
Nice.
All right, that's it. I'm an expert in nothing.
Marissa, what are you an expert in?
Oh, nothing funny. Sorry. Sorry, Noble AV. I guess I'm an expert in AI assisted level design, which is really specific and technical. But on a I guess to explain what it is, it's like when you use procedurally generated or computer generated formulas to help with your environmental assets when building video games, more often than not.
Whoa.
Wow. See, I mean, the name of the show is Interesting Points. It's not Funny Points. So being interesting is just as good.
I'm playing Sega Genesis right now.
Oh, great.
Speaking of video games.
With one hand.
No, I was. I am now holding a can and my face.
I was gonna say if you're playing it with your dick, that's really cool. But no.
I am playing with my dick.
Joystick, am I right?
So,
You're right.
A Gwar
You're like,
is a band.
huh?
Someone asked what is a guar in the chat.
They asked me.
It's the
Yes,
noise
Rachel.
you make. It's the noise you make when you go "Gwah!" when you die. It's the
So-
noise a monster makes. People will say that. See, I'm an expert. People used to guess that it stood for God. What an awful racket. But it's just a noise. It's "Gwah."
So, Marissa, so have you designed any games that we would know about?
So I currently work on a game called Game of Thrones Conquest, which is a mobile title. I've done a bunch of smaller games than that. There was one game called Fear the Walking Dead Run, which was a mobile title I worked on. And it used procedurally generated design to a degree, and it was used to assist in developing large amounts of environments without being too repeating.
Cool. Yeah, that's something I would have never known about.
You go, Rachel.
Now play with it with your dick.
No, we're not having that on the show.
Which is it? Play the game or
Is that
play
for-
with your dick?
Is that for too much bread after dark?
Play the game with your dick. I think I was pretty clear.
So,
I just keep pressing A.
thanks, Marissa.
Yeah, your topic is way more interesting. As actually interesting.
Lloyd, what are you an expert in? He says fearfully.
It's hard to follow joysticks, but I am an expert in always buttering my pancakes before I make them. And it's easy for me to say that.
What?
Or you make them.
So I brought proof. See, I cannot eat pancakes with just syrup anymore. Ever since 1994, when I first tried butter with pancakes, I never, ever, I got pancakes in the house, and if there's no butter, I'm not having pancakes. It is just something I cannot do, and I am an expert, full expert, at never once in over 20 years forgetting or allowing myself to have the gall to make pancakes without butter, because it is just not the same once you do it the first time.
Marissa raising her hand.
I do have a question.
I do. I'm sorry. I thought I'd be polite.
No. Thank you.
I have a question. Is margarine okay?
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. That works too.
Okay. All right.
Now, what's
I
your
can't
preferred?
believe it's not butter spray. Would you do that?
I can't do butter spray. No. I'm not. I know I'm crazy. And if you thought I was, you're not wrong. But I'm not that gone. Yeah.
No, I get it, man. I only use I can't believe it's not butter spray when I got to get my wedding ring off.
That's fair.
Just kidding. I don't know. I never take it off.
Oh, well, I can relate in some ways.
Now, the chat's pretty good. Diet Dr. Pepper is fucking boss. So whoever said that no one likes it is wrong. It is to the point of Dr. Love Truffle, which I will now name my penis. It is the most like Dr. Pepper of diet sodas that are like itself.
Okay.
So
Mountain Dew.
somebody said that they never use butter on pancakes. In fact, at IHOP, the first thing you do is take the butter off. That is their right to do as an American. And here's the generous part. They are willing to give me their butter. Thank you. More from me. Everybody wins. Why do we have to fight? We don't have to fight. Things like this solve problems.
That person is a bird?
So,
Now you
Lloyd,
got some free butter.
can we flash up Lloyd's email address so you can send him your butter?
You gonna email him butter?
I don't know. It's
That's not how email works.
it's 2020, Dan. I don't know what the world is anymore.
The world runs on technology. You send the butter however you can, and it gets there how it gets there. What else can we do until all this is over? Look how we're talking to each other right now.
Wow, Brian.
Oh, God.
Brian,
Hello.
do you have any you have any non-butter? Are you a non-butter expert?
Yes, I'm actually quite the expert on non-butter. Even though I was at the farmer's market today and there was one stand that had some fresh cream butter, and I was like, maybe next week. So maybe in the future. But
what's your expert topic there, bro?
I'm an expert on 2000s alternative band Panic at the Disco.
Oh.
Like you got questions, I got answers. Like
Is that one of their songs?
What do you say?
Is that one of their songs? You got questions?
No, that's me just being a person that's
I thought you were already in
way too much time listening to their music. But you know, they started off in Vegas. Ryan Ross started a band, had this guy Brendan join as a backup singer, and then they joined practice, and then everyone was like, this dude Brendan sings way better than you, Ryan. And then Brendan was the lead singer. And then they released one song, and then Pete Wentz was like, these guys are awesome. We should maybe cultivate them as, like, you know, young artists. So he flew them to DC, stuck them in a hotel for the summer, and said, make me an album. And they did.
Pete Wentz flew them there?
Well, you know, like
Earbird?
What's it called? Like Fueled by Ramen. Those like that alternative label. So not like Pete Wentz like coming out of his pocket, but you know, he was a big advocate for them. And then they released their debut album and it doesn't get any response. And then Pete Wentz is like, you guys got to listen to Panic at the Disco. Maybe he had like money riding on this, but eventually the album blew up. And then little old alternative me, you know, like 14 years old, was like, this is some good stuff right here. Closing the goddamn door is things that I aspire to do in my daily life. And here I am, 15 years later, still closing the goddamn door.
Nice. What I honestly gotta admit, I'm not familiar with Panic at the Disco. As much as
You've been missing out. You have not lived until you go through the heartbreak of being at theater camp after your junior year of high school and finding out that Panic at the Disco is broken up. But then finding out a few months later that Brendan's actually keeping the band going, because after the band broke up, Brendan said, well, I could just go solo, or I could ride this name of a band that's, you know, internationally famous. And he's been doing that for the past like 14 years.
Huh. Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions? Yes.
Do you feel like there has been a marked or even perceivable change in quality to the band since the band is now just Brendan and some other guys?
So you have to realize that Brendan only wrote one song on the first two albums, and it was the second shortest song of the first two albums. Then on the third album, when he started to finally start writing songs, there was some questionable ass lyrics. And the best written song was actually a song that Ryan Ross wrote before he left the band. Brendan didn't get good at writing songs until like This Is Gospel. And that was years after the band broke up, which was a completely different identity. But you can see in the aftermath of the breakup where the band wanted to go, where Brendan wanted to go and where Ryan wanted to go. Brendan loved the weird Las Vegas sound that the first album carried. Ryan Ross wanted that Beatles sound of the second album. So Brendan's been chasing that first album kind of unsuccessfully since the band's broken up. But I would say that while Brendan's songwriting has improved, you can't top Fever You Can't Sweat Out. You can't top Pretty Odd. But
I've been watching this whole time. I got kicked out and I came right back, and Lloyd has not stopped.
It's just
Through all of the Panic at the Disco facts. It's like Panic at the Crisco.
Hey.
I was going to use Panic at the Bisquick.
What I like about Lloyd eating during the show is the fact that before the show, Brian, like, part of our conversation was about how Brian ate his dinner so fast so he'd be ready for the show.
yeah, my dinner was done like 10 minutes before we joined the meeting. I ate beef stew, rice, and 2 ears of corn. Just like Patrick Starr with the cookies in front of him. Like my mouth became rectangular and I just vacuumed it in. And here I am, just watching Lloyd go to town on the
What you need to do
Oh, no.
is plan beforehand to know how to fit your meal as part of the whole gimmick for your participation of an event. That's exactly what I did. That's how I got away with it. It all works out, and here we are.
That's what he
Did
does.
you get away with it?
That's what he does in live on stage too. He just brings pancakes with him everywhere. Have you seen Lloyd's act? It's all pancakes all the time.
Flapjack.
Thank you for the panic at the disco.
Yeah, it was
knowledge.
good.
Appreciate it. Rachel.
Hi.
Hey.
So you want me to talk about what I'm an expert in?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say that I am an expert broadly in being horny. And then it just becomes different subcategories. Marissa, I've already lost her. So currently, I'm not just horny, I'm also, I believe in my heart, in my mind, that I'm an expert in an anthropologist of other people's horniness. So I'm really interested right now in the
Not hoarding, horniness.
horniness.
Horny. Fix nuts.
I'm almost done with the TV show Hannibal. So one thing that I love about Hannibal is its fandom. Because if you've watched Hannibal, it's basically about an FBI guy trying to get this cannibal, and they're both super smart, and they both like do mind games, and they like can't quite destroy each other, and the fandom is just like, they need to fuck right now. And there's just like a lot of content sort of in that regard. There's a lot of fan cams.
I just started watching it, so if they fuck, no spoilies.
Okay, I'm not gonna
Don't
they?
spoil it.
But I've been like watching some fan cams, some like Hanagram fan cams, which I just like love that phrase. You guys know what a fan cam is? It's like people make like little videos and they like put like music to them, and it's just like a bunch of close-ups. You're like, I just made a fan cam, but people will make them about anybody. So sometimes it's like a Jennifer Lawrence like looking cool on the red carpet while like Nicki Minaj plays below it. But sometimes it's like people will do fan cams of like anybody. Like people will do like George Bush fan cams. People will do like just the most bizarre fan cams.
I
So
saw
I'm
Dylan Roof fan cam, and I was like, maybe I'm done with the internet for the day.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
wasn't, because I'm addicted to the internet.
That's dark.
Boy, watch his pancake fan cams.
Fan
Fan cams.
Fan cams.
Fan cams.
fan cams.
Fan cams.
Yeah, his favorite website is OnlyPans.
OnlyFans.
Holy
OnlyFans. Butter. So I've been sort of, now that I'm almost done with the series, I've been letting myself see more of the fan content. The fan art, I need to tell you something, guys, is the quality of Hannibal fan art is astronomically higher than fan art I've seen in any other fandom. If
Okay,
you
Google. Hannibal fan art.
Hannibal fan art, you're just like, everyone. Are you looking at it now?
It's like the first only thing that comes up.
We don't need to show it.
Isn't that beautiful?
I believe I now have horniness.
Yeah, we're all horny for a Hanagram now. And also, like, what a great portmanteau Hanagram is.
We're gonna show it.
And
Oh my god.
Wow.
reportedly, Hugh Dancy, who plays Will Graham, has denied reading the fan fiction, but Mads Mikkelsen has reportedly said that he's lying. And in fact, Hugh Dancy sends Mads Mikkelsen, who plays Hannibal, fan fiction that Hugh Dancy has found, which I think is very charming.
Rachel, you horny right now? Look at this.
It's really good. It's good stuff.
That's my new background.
Guys, we have a lot more show to do, so I'm not going to look at it too close.
We should
But
dedicate an entire show to this, honestly. This is a rabbit hole.
Okay, Dan.
I can't stop.
It's like, all right, Dan.
All right, Dan.
I'll be an expert in this by the end of the show.
Thank you, Rachel.
A guy who looks like me can't also be interested in attractive men?
No, I didn't say that at all.
Oh.
Ye have little faith.
I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying.
Now I'm playing Genesis with my penis, creating genocide. I don't know. Committing. Why did I fix that joke?
So that's everybody being an expert in something. Thank you, Al, for teaching me some stuff that I didn't know about. Pancakes being the number one thing, I guess.
Rachel, this was an unfortunate thing for you to cue me in on during it.
Yeah, we've lost Dan. Dan, might as well just cut Dan's camera. We've lost Dan for the interest of the show. Actually, the funny thing is the next segment is guilty pleasures. I think I just gave Dan a guilty pleasure.
I feel no guilt, no shame in my fan game cam.
Let's put it this way. Whenever I mention guilty pleasures, the number one answer I get is I'm not guilty about it, and that's fine. I'm just asking for something you like that other people might be surprised that you like. Maybe that's more what I'm thinking about. Lloyd, let me go start with you first. Let's get this out of the way, because I'm afraid you got more pancakes.
Funny enough, I said in the chat, I prepared way too elaborately for this freaking show. Made a prop, didn't want them to go to waste. Somehow, I guess it worked. But thank you. I'm like, I don't know how to guilty and pleasure. Well, how's this? I am a Dr. Pimple Popper fan. Now, I didn't think I'd enjoy it, and I don't even know if I do enjoy it. But when you're having a hard time, I'm an insomniac. I get 3 to 5, if that.
Solid.
Sometimes when you have something on the TV that you're not really invested in watching, but you also can't look away from because it's just, oh my God, what's going to happen now? Eventually, you just drift off easily that way. And I have found that Dr. Pimple Popper's videos have been a great aid for me in getting to sleep at night, because it's one of the few things I can put on and only pay attention to the point of not caring enough to stay awake. And for some reason, that's done more for me than melatonin, trazodone, or any other sleeping thing that I've tried over the years. And for that, I gotta say, Dr. Pimple Popper, I couldn't do her job. I don't know how anybody can stand to do that and actually make a career off of it. Props to her. I throw up and then quit, but it is a marvelous sleep aid. And for that, it's my guilty pleasure.
I just want people to know that the 2MB Studios is actually our tech, Matt, and he said he's out when you said Dr. Pimple Popper, so I'm surprised we're still on the air.
Dr. Pimple Popper is gross.
So thank you, Lloyd. Marissa, what's your guilty pleasure?
Guilty. Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite things to do, it's like an activity that I get excited about and like my heart flutters thinking about doing it, is probably not unlike how people think about sex, where they're just like, oh, I'm thirsty for it, is falling asleep at other people's houses during a party.
That's awesomely specific.
Yeah. Like every New Year's, then I go home and I go to my friend's house and they're like, yeah, we're going to celebrate and drink and have a great time. And I'm like, great, I'm going to sit on the couch and then fall asleep while everyone is around me. It's my favorite thing. I'm just like,
I think I might have a new thing to try, because that's
I've done it myself, and it's the shit. I don't know why it's so fun.
Rachel gets it.
I get it.
A few times I have done it. It's just I wake up in the morning and I'm like, where the hell am I? What the hell am I doing here? I feel gross. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I haven't derived the same pleasure from it.
That's very
as
fair.
some people have. But I can appreciate it 100%. I think I did it.
To answer David Thomas's question, I kind of think part of it is the like the blinking and then realizing that, oh, everyone is around you talking, but you're still kind of like halfway asleep and halfway there. And so I don't know if blacking out can be part of it, because for me, when I've blacked out at parties, like I just wake up the next morning and have a good vomit, and then
Goodbye. Oh, thank you.
I remember shit that I said.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Dan, what about you? Besides Hannibal.
Well, I've been on the show before, so like I get a huge kick out of like teen dramas, like Glee and OC and all that stuff. But another thing that I really get a kick out of is very specific, unique Lego pieces. And lately, for some reason, this Lego sausage. Just any Lego piece that's like not your common brick or stud, like, man, like Barbara Gordon, the Batgirl from the Lego movie, comes with a little like clip-on ponytail. It's just a unique part you can't get. You only get it with a few female identifying Lego characters. Yeah. So
I can see that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I got kind of addicted to Legos recently myself, just because it's kind of a good way to find
Lego
my quiet.
bucket. Little Lego bucket. On my camera. It's a bucket. It's like a person bucket, but it's made of Legos. And if you put water in it, it doesn't leak. Lego grill. This is a grill that you make the sausage on. You cook it. Cook the sausage.
Next up on Lego Chat.
And you can build a Lego sandcastle. I got a little Lego beach guy here. It's a little Lego chair. Lays out. And then he's got like a little Lego selfie stick, and he's eating an ice cream. The Lego selfie stick, also a unique piece. And camera. And the ice cream. Unique piece.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dan.
He's got a surfboard too.
That may have legitimately been the cutest thing that I've ever had on this show.
And if you want to take the camera off the selfie stick and set up a little scene, it's got a tripod. Also unique Lego tripod.
Thanks, Dan. So, Brian.
So
Guilty pleasure.
So it's not so much a guilty pleasure, but something that I get pleasure out of by not feeling guilty. So, hear me out on this.
Okay.
When I play video games, I have to be as nice as possible and cause as least chaos as possible. So, like, when I play Grand Theft Auto, like, the citizens of, like, Los Santos, like, are in safe hands in my hands because I'm not going to run them over. And if I do, it's gonna ruin my day. When I play Animal Crossing, I have to be as nice as possible to my villagers. Everyone is my favorite islander. They all get gifts. No one is bad. Like, because if I make someone upset, oh my God, this stupid binary code is somehow making me feel so bad about how I treated it. And even like the video games where it's like you have the choice between being stealthy or going in guns blazing. Oh, I can just sneak in, take the jewel, and go and not kill anyone? Cool. I'm going to do that because that's going to make me feel a lot better than killing these fake characters. I know video games are places where I could live out these fantasies and, what, like, the politicians say, I play games with guns, I'm gonna, be a gun guy. But I'm not a gun guy in real life. And when I'm playing video games, I'm I'm not really quick to go to the gun.
Oh, nice. Can't say that I do the same, but I can appreciate doing it.
Finally, a gamer that echoes my freaking practices. I thought I was the only one. Bless you, Brian. Bless you.
Bless you, Lloyd, and the pancakes.
So, Rachel, what about you? Your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure are time travel movies where the entire point of the time travel is to get two people in love. I love these, and I think they're a guilty pleasure because it's very easy to imagine other reasons to use the time travel device. More important than getting two hot Hollywood actors together.
Can you share some titles other than like Back to the Future, like the common ones?
There's the Time Traveler's Wife. That's a good one. I'm watching The Lake House right now.
I was gonna say
Is that the Holocaust one?
My favorite.
Who said the Holocaust one?
Is the Time Traveler's Wife the Holocaust one?
No.
There was something about a wife and a Holocaust
gotta
story
go
like
there.
a year ago.
No, they're real goyish in that movie.
It was the zookeeper's wife.
Yeah, that's a different type of wife.
An Airbnb, but with a time machine.
Yes, that's basically The Lake House.
Yeah.
I also like murder. I also like I'm about to watch About Time, which I'm excited by the prospect of, just because Rachel McAdams loves her time travel movies. I just think that it's like peanut butter and jelly, like non-linear time, Rachel McAdams. That's a good combination. Also, not Strangelove, Dr. Marvel Man.
Strange.
Benedict.
Strange. I couldn't think of it. What was the other one? I love Time After Time, which is from the 70s. It's about H.G. Wells falling in love with a feminist from the 1970s, and then deciding to go back in time with him, which I feel like is very funny because who would choose that? But she does because of love. And they also fight Jack the Ripper. That's like the other part.
That was the unimportant part of the movie. Jack the Ripper. That was a subplot.
Also fight Jack the Ripper.
Well, it's 2MB Studios. That's Matt. He says Malcolm McDowell, which is true. Malcolm McDowell does play H.G. Wells, and it's kind of like a fun movie because he rarely gets to play the non-villain role.
Yes.
If you're into Malcolm McDowell and you're like into Mary Steenburgen and David Warner, check it out. It's not bad. But
I thought it was Virgin.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you consider 50 First Dates to be a time travel movie? Because, time is staying still for one person and moving on for another.
Here is where I admit, I don't know if I've ever seen an Adam Sandler movie that wasn't Punch Drunk Love.
Good for you. They're all basically terrible.
Oh, I saw Uncut Gems too, but I've never seen like
Uncut Gems was amazing.
It was really good, but I've never seen like any of the Adam Sandler like comedy movies. I probably
I haven't seen that movie since I was a child, and I think I saw it in theaters, and I didn't even remember that it was an Adam Sandler movie.
It's part of his Shablagoo series, right? Where he just Shablagoo through everything.
I was 31 when that came out.
When you came out?
When that movie came out, I was 31.
Gosh, what?
Hey.
I think.
Adam Sandler movies are not all terrible. They're mostly terrible.
That is what I said.
I love Adam Sandler movies because
good.
They're not that great, but Adam Sandler, they're uniquely him. He's not doing anything but being Adam Sandler, except for Uncut Gems. That was just me being stressed out and wanting the movie to be over.
Little Nicky was pretty good, but also after a while, Little Nicky wears on me because he does a voice in it the whole time. Shablagoo.
Is Click Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was guilty pleasures. Not to thank you, everybody. We're going to go into our last segment here, which is called "One of Us is the Killer." Basically, I told everybody to come up with a story. true story that sounds so weird. It sounds so weird it could be fake, but one person is actually telling a lie entirely. So I'm going to start kind of bounce around a little bit. Brian, what's your story?
I went to school in the Midwest, and my very first day in Wisconsin, I was gifted the nickname Boston, and I met some people who hung out in the area, and they invited me to their house, and a few of us went over there, and we're around the fire, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, Boston, I know you're from Boston, but don't be offended if you ever see me wearing Confederate clothes." And then he unzipped his hoodie and had a Confederate t-shirt on in Wisconsin. Wisconsin was not part of the Confederacy. So I was stupefied. And that was my night hanging out with the Confederacy, my first night of college.
Wow, that's kind of fucked up. That's not just kind of fucked up. That is fucked up. Wow. Anybody got any questions for Brian about that?
Where's he now?
I don't know. I was like thinking about that like earlier today. Like I couldn't even remember his name. I think it was like Tyler or something. But maybe we're still friends on Facebook. Like I have so many friends on Facebook from like different walks of life, and I'm definitely at the point of like my life where like I'm like not remembering people who I went to college with, like if I'm not actively talking to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no idea what he's up to. Probably living in Wisconsin. I wonder how he feels about the statues going down.
Marissa, what's your story?
All right. So I was walking in the woods, minding my own business, hanging out with some friends. And then I look over to my bud and I'm like, "Hey, so just out of the blue, my dad used to murder deer. And I don't, but he used to, and he used to take me out to these woods." And then I look up like right after I say that, and there are two deer looking at me with the sassiest look I've ever seen in my life. And they are within tossing a paper ball distance. And I looked at them with their deer eyes and I said, "I'm sorry." And then I ran away.
It's probably the best thing to do. It's actually anybody got any questions for Marissa about that story? No?
Pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward. Rachel, what's your story?
Okay, so I was in. This is a little dirty, but it's late, so I assume we're all
I'll
adults.
be offended, but
So I was in college and I had a roommate. And one time I came in the room to get something. And she was in the bed. And we had like a chat, and then I left. I had gotten my bag or something. I went back to class, whatever. And then later we were talking, and she was like, "You were so cool the other day." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, like when you came into the room when I was masturbating and you didn't even get phased at all. And I didn't know that she had been masturbating. I was just oblivious. I was like, oh, I'm stupid. But there was part of me that just wanted to be like, "Oh yeah, I totally walk in on you." Like I just grew up with people masturbating. I don't even notice it. Cool. Yeah, that's part of how we bonded. I like didn't notice when she masturbated.
Oh, wow. Anybody got any questions for Rachel?
No questions. He was probably back to one time I almost got like epically busted masturbating in college. Like
It was a bust.
it was like my dorm desk was like right by the door, and the door
Your
came open, and
secret
my
didn't
roommates
tell
were
us,
friends. But like luckily the door was like fidgeting with the lock, so I had time to grab like my bath towel from the back of the door. So like they come in, and I'm just like different window on the laptop. I have like my hoodie on, but like there's just like a bath towel for my legs, and I'm just stuck in my chair the entire time in the dorm. Like, no way out. Just undo it. I just have to wait for them to leave so I can pull my pants up.
So we'll move on a little quicker. Just we got a limited amount of time. So, Dan, what's your story? Dan,
Hello?
what's your story?
Yeah. Oh, everybody cut out for a moment and it turned black and then it came back and everyone was laughing. It's my turn?
Yeah, your turn.
Oh no, Lloyd, you remained black. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, you're fine. You're good. So earlier I had mentioned that I was born with fused ankle bones. I was actually I developed that because I was actually born with another condition that can cause other abnormalities. I was born with an imperforate anus, so I actually didn't have a butthole until it was installed. Basically, I had to have surgery the first week of my existence.
I know there are questions, but we don't have time for questions. So, Lloyd, what's your story?
All right, try to make this brief, since sex and butthole seems to be the theme here. It's a well-known fact that I am, in fact, a virgin, but it almost wasn't that way. Elementary school. Just bear with me. It's not what you think. It was recess. And we were all supposed to it's a Holland school in Dorchester. If you've heard of it, if you've heard of it, if you haven't, then just listen. And all the kids ran out, and this girl pulled me back. And fast forward through some weirdness things, she pushed me down, and she began to disrobe, and she started to and I didn't know what was going on, and then the principal came in.
Yeah.
And we both got in trouble.
Is that a rape?
And the next week, all the teacher kept saying to me and this person was, in the classroom, in the classroom, in the classroom. That's the story. Long story short.
Okay. So who was lying? Who thinks Marissa was not telling the truth about the deer? Who thinks Brian was not telling the truth about the? I lost your story because you got the Confederate flag. I'm sorry.
I forgot my own story.
Rachel, who thought Rachel was lying about walking in on her masturbation? Who thinks Lloyd was lying? Who thinks Dan was lying? Yeah, was it Dan? Were we lying?
Oh, yeah, I have fused ankle bones, but I do not have an perforate anus. No.
All right.
I couldn't think of anything better, though.
So that's our
actually
show.
a story I heard doing the Naked Show. Somebody came on stage and actually had that.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I took it from them. Yeah.
Wow.
I quickly Googled it, too, to make sure I could say like things like 5 to 7 weeks of my mother's pregnancy. And like I had facts.
So that's our show. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to our guests. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you, Rachel. We got to get out of here quickly. Stick around for Jog My Memory with Ken Breeze coming up in just a few minutes. Excellent show. A lot of fun. Thank you all for watching. Thank you and have a great night. Bye, everybody.